Hello and welcome to Epiphytic Cacti. Let's jump right into it. We are going to look at 5 epiphytic cacti that I am just absolutely loving right now for August 2026. First up, we have this mysterious Selenicereus. I do not quite know what species of Selenicereus this is. This was given to me as Selenicereus species mini from Belize. And the mini part was just denoting that it was a peculiar kind of miniature Selenicereus. And anyone who knows anything about Selenicereus knows that these plants actually defy gravity. Literally, they just climb right up all over everything. It's like these sprawling, crazy, chaotic plants that are humongous. So imagine my surprise at seeing one that was beautiful, pendant, and could easily be grown in a hanging basket. Not only that, it actually flowers in a hanging basket. And hold on, I'm going to rewind that for a second. It is a Selenicereus that actually flowers, and it doesn't take a decade or 2 decades to do so. I know, this is insane. The only Selenicereus species that I know of that grows in Belize is Selenicereus nelsonii, and I'm not super versed in Selenicereus the way that I am in some other genera, so maybe this is nelsonii, maybe it isn't. I don't quite know. I posted a reel of this on Instagram a while back, and someone left a comment assuming that the identification had to be incorrect and that it had to be an Epiphyllum, which is a hybrid between an Epiphytic and a Cactus. And I can't really fault them for thinking that, because it really does look like an Epiphyllum. But how absolutely cool is that? A Selenicereus species that grows like an Epiphyllum. It's absolutely fabulous. And I mean, look at this new growth. This thing is like growing in literally maybe like a cup of substrate. And look at all of this insane new growth that it's producing. It's just absolutely fabulous. This one really surprised me. I actually pretty much influenced myself. When I was doing the Vibes series, I had shown this plant, and something about seeing this plant on film when I was editing made me just really appreciate this plant in a way that I absolutely have never ever appreciated this plant. Let me explain. I have a lot of Lepismium cruciforme, and this and several others have never really been like amazing to me. And so there are plants that I tend to kind of tuck away kind of in dark corners and stuff, you know, like they're the plants that they don't get as much care as everyone else essentially. And so, but I've had this plant for years, so it's obviously amazingly resilient. And something about this year, something about it sunstressing the way that it has, something about how it's producing so much wool at the areoles, it just, you know, I am just really absolutely adoring this plant. I can't believe, and I'm so surprised because I usually really strongly prefer Lepismium cruciforme that have flat stems. And this one is like so bushy and it has lots of angular stems. And I'm just so surprised. But I mean, look at it. How could you not be like, cool? Like, it's so interesting and different and weird and just cool. This plant is no stranger to being one of my favorites just in general. This is Rhipsalis burchellii. Not only do I just absolutely love those very fine stems with the long trailing pendant habit, I also really like that this one sunstresses. I don't typically like my plants colored. I tend to like them green, but every once in a while you get some that sunstress and they're just so pretty when they do it, you just sort of let them go. That is the case with me with Rhipsalis burchellii. This year's also been really exciting because it's the first time that mine has ever produced fruit. I have no idea what pollinated it or how it happened, but it's kind of a miracle. It suddenly just has fruit. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to see the sort of like pinkish magenta fruit when it fully ripens. But I absolutely just think this plant is fabulous. Truly, just hands down, always a general favorite. This guy has been just like absolutely ridiculous. Really, from the moment that it started growing, I've just been like all googly eyed at it constantly. You know, so Epiphyllum chrysocardium has always been one of my all-time favorite epiphytic cacti species. I just love that plant. I think that it is so bold and striking, and it looks so crazy prehistoric. It is a plant, though, that if you want to grow, you really need to have a lot of room just for that one plant. It takes up a ton of space. But this right here is actually an Epiphyllum chrysocardium hybrid. It was hybridized with Epiphyllum baueri, and this is commonly known as Epiphyllum bauericardium. Something kind of crazy like that. It's a little bit hard to say, but I love this plant. I just do. It has all the feeling of Epiphyllum chrysocardium, only it's a little more tame, a little more compact. It's more pendant for sure. And it's got a more elegant kind of vibe to it. And I just really kind of like that. So I know that somebody asked the other day in the comments what the plant was in my intro, and this is the new plant that's in my intro. And in order to make it in my actual intro, you'd have to be an absolutely gorgeous epiphytic cacti. And this one is an absolutely gorgeous epiphytic cacti. And I cannot wait for this thing to flower because it has a kind of smaller flower, but the stamen are also kind of pinkish. And my hope is that this will be easier to flower than Epiphyllum chrysocardium, which typically takes a pretty long time for people to get that species to flower. It pretty much has to have already outgrown your entire house. So yeah, but I mean, look at it. It's got those same insane, big, interesting, crazy, beautiful stems. It's got the same texture too. Again, the only difference is that it's more pendant, which makes it a better candidate for a houseplant just in general. Next, we have this beautiful guy. This is Deamia testudo. It's really funny because a lot of epiphytic cacti do not have common names because they are not actually common plants. However, this one does. This one is commonly known as a dogtail cactus, and you often see it just kind of stuffed into hanging baskets, and usually you see it when it's juvenile and not really in its adult form. This plant, I got cuttings off of a very adult plant, so it is a very adult looking. It has very adult looking stems. And the stems of this plant are absolutely so bizarre and unusual and interesting. They're kind of aggressive looking, which is one of the things that I like about it. But if you've ever seen this plant growing, like wild pictures of this growing, it is absolutely one of the coolest things ever. This plant literally just like twists and snakes and like wraps and does all kinds of crazy things up the trees and on the tree branches, and it is so cool looking because it like clumps over itself. It's just absolutely fabulous looking, and the stems are actually huge. They get really thick and huge, like thicker than an arm when they do this. So this is just absolutely crazy. And I've had this plant for a couple of years, and it's always been a plant that I have just been really in love with. But up until recently, it was in a hanging basket. And that's not really my favorite way to see it, because like, how could you take something so cool in the wild and put it in a hanging basket and have the same vibe? You're not going to have the same vibe. So I was like, how can I solve my problem with this plant? Because I love this plant so much. And so I had this idea of basically taking this piece of wood, which this is called diamond willow where I'm from, and the tree branches, like, they fall down. So this isn't something that was cut off of a live tree. They actually just kind of die, and then you can take the wood, but they have all these beautiful, interesting knots and all this beautiful bark, and usually these things are carved, but I'm not going to carve it. I just wanted the super cool, gnarly sort of vibe going here. And then I decided to put concrete down in the bottom of this planter in a way that I could still have the drainage holes and basically like sink the tree into there so that it would actually stay and be weighted and everything. Now this planter is extremely heavy, so it's hard to move. But then I just kind of filled the rest in and planted this plant in here and just kind of started it up, these trees. And this is just how I'm going to grow it so that I can get the vibe that I want from this plant. So sometimes if you just take a plant that you've had for a while and you do a little bit of zhuzhing to it here and there, you can get it to suddenly become a super favorite. Like this was already a favorite, but now it's kind of a super favorite. If you want to help support the channel, like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy cacti growing.